Today we are going to dive into the current state of Enhancement Shaman in Season 2 of The War Within. We'll be covering talent changes, previewing some promising builds, and taking a look at our tier set along with some visual changes the class has received. Starting off with our class talents, we have officially lost Ancestral Guidance. Cry it out, boys. It'll be okay. Instead, we now have increased healing of our healing totem by 100%, so I got a mega buff. Although, this button's definitely not going to feel as satisfying to press since it smart heals one target every few seconds, and yeah, just big sag. Luckily though, our specialization tree changes are actually pretty freaking dope. First off, we got some nice new art for some of our talents, but key thing, they did nerf the damage of our Maelstrom spenders, but they have increased the damage our builders do. So it's a give and take as they try to close the damage gap between Stormbringer and Totemic builds. A major change in the center of our tree though is we had a lot of talents swap sides, like Ice Strike choice nodes have been swapped with Elemental Blast choice nodes, Hailstrom and Flurry have swapped as well. All of these swaps have moved Hot Hands and our Lava Lash talents up a row and have made the pathing to Maelstrom Generator for our Hailstorm and Fire Nova far less annoying to get to. These changes overall have put the center of the tree in a pretty sweet spot in my opinion, which is crazy because the enhancement tree was already one of the best spec trees in the game, and it only gets better. Primordial Wave, all the way at the bottom of our tree, has received a complete rework, and so have the talents that follow it up. Primordial Wave will no longer apply Flame Shock, but instead hits every target with Flame Shock applied to it. And if you're playing Stormbringer, it also applies Lightning Rod. This removes a few GCDs for us and completely smooths out our rotation, making it feel even better and easier for first time enhancement boyos. I love this change. Oh, and did I mention it now also gives you 5 stacks of Maelstrom weapon? Maelstrom Knight. The follow-up talents still give us a haste buff for the amount of targets hit, but the capstone is now a new ability, Primordial Storm. So, after using Primordial Wave for 15 seconds, we have access to Primordial Storm, which is the same button. And what it does is it hits all nearby enemies with a blast of frost, fire, and nature damage. And it consumes Maelstrom to increase the damage it deals, but does deal damage reduced beyond 5 targets. This new ability has led to some fun theory crafting on the PTR, where you may now be able to play without Ascendants or Wolves, but we'll talk about that in just a moment. The last note for the spec tree is the damage bonus for Elemental Spirits is down to 10%. This is a big hit to trying to spam and get all those wolves out. It is actually extremely noticeable so far on the PTR, but this may open a few options for us to explore away from using Wolvies or using physical wolves. Who knows? Not us, not yet, but we will very soon. And for our Stormbringer hero talents, Arc Discharge will now stack up to 2, removing that weird feeling when you wanted to cast a lightning bolt or chain before using that next free Tempest. And I've seen this be in question a lot from new players of the spec. The damage gain was very minimal, and now this just kind of removes that brain like, huh? Now I want to be very clear, none of these builds are set in stone since we are still doing a lot of testing on the PTR, and with our most recent update on the PTR, our tier set bonus has completely changed for the better. I can't believe they gave us this, to be honest. It's pretty freaking nuts. So let's talk about it. Now, for our 2-piece, there's not really any big changes here. It's going to be the 4-piece, but let's talk about it really quick. We gain a stack of Winning Streak, which increases the damage of our Storm Strike, Lava Lash, and Doom Winds. And the change here in the 2-piece is now each Maelstrom spent has a 1% chance of removing Winning Streak, where previously it was using Storm Strike, Lava Lash, or any of those other abilities would have a chance to remove it. It is now changed to every Maelstrom spent is 1%. And now our 4-piece is the crazy thing. When Winning Streak is removed, we gain Doom Winds for 4 seconds. And now you can be spec'd into Doom Winds, not spec'd into Doom Winds. It does not remove the cooldown or anything like that. It does stack if you have Doom Winds rolling, so you gain Doom Winds for 4 seconds. And whenever Doom Winds deals damage, you get a stacking buff, which increases the damage of your next Crash Lightning. And this stacks up to 10 times, and anytime you spend it with Crash Lightning, you can use a max of 5 stacks for 120% damage increase, which literally makes Crash Lightning one of our highest damaging abilities now, especially in AoE. So it's pretty freaking cool. I love it, and I think we're going to be pressing Crash Lightning if we have stacks on cooldown. And then with the addition of just randomly getting these Doomwind procs, we just get more Maelstrom, which has like a Stormbringer. It feels freaking amazing. You'll just be spamming and just trying to get those Doomwind procs and just smashing down with Crash Lightning. It's literally amazing. Now, I'm going to start you off with an interesting build that is Primordial Stormbringer with no Ascendance. Now, this build generates Maelstrom like crazy without even having Ascendance, allowing you to constantly spend 10 for that max 10% chance to trigger free Doom Winds. Now, as you can see, it starts ramping. It ramps and still holds a steady 6 to 7 million DPS after kind of blowing all of its cooldowns. And with these talents, I went for the option of Crash Lightning, also buffing Storm Strike a little bit to get a little more damage out of that, along with increasing the physical damage and frost damage with the new Primordial Storm after spending 10 Maelstrom. So I think there's a lot of playing around with a couple talents here to get more damage out of frost and physical abilities, or just focusing a little more on the Storm Strike since that got buff damage. So there's a lot of playing around to still be done, but I was thoroughly enjoying this talent setup with no Ascendance. I like Ascendance, but I'm not the biggest fan of Ascendance, so I enjoyed having the Wolves and using Primordial Wave side of the tree. Now we have 2 more Stormbringer builds that I'm going to show you that are also performing well, but first off I want to start with the standard one that you've probably been running all season in Mythic Plus. Good news, it's still doing well as you can see, but your boy of course is a fan of mixing things up. This is pretty close to performing the same as the Primordial No Ascendance build that I was playing just a moment ago, but I do like to switch things up because it helps keep things fresh. Last up for Stormbringer, I've been testing a no wolves build since elemental spirits have been nerfed, and the crazy thing is this Primordial Ascendance build is so far the best performing build. Now it could just be you get lucky Doom Winds procs and that's just skyrocketing your Maelstrom and all of that jazz. Like there's a lot of RNG involved with this spec, so again none of this is set in stone, but for me this has been the best performing spec. You can see it's holding a high 7 to 8 million DPS, and I'll be sad to see my wolf pups go, but these Primordial wave changes, guys, and the builds with it are so incredibly fun. Like hitting the button and spending that Maelstrom on the Primordial Storm, oh, it just feels so satisfying. It's great, and then following that up with like a Tempest, oh my god, it's awesome. After season 1, it is wildly interesting to see that we Stormbringer boys could be saying bye to either our pups or Ascendants, and I really never thought I'd be saying that after season 1, that being the entire part of the build. Now, when it comes to Totemic, I don't have much awesome news to report. This is the hero talent option that I have not put much time into, but it seems it has not been performing as well as Stormbringer, at least with me playing it Mythic Plus. But hell, here's what I got. You guys let me know what you think in the comments below, especially about those Stormbringer builds. They're pretty freaking sick. Lava Lash is back, baby, and it's making Totemic our Elementalist build. So if you enjoyed Hot Hands, it's back, baby. And I think that's going to be a route our Totemic brethrens take. So here's a quick little montage of a fill builds I've been testing. On average, they're underperforming though by 2 to 3 million DPS in Mythic Plus. Now that is not to say that they're not performing well in single target. I have just not been focusing a lot on single target performance because I am mainly a Mythic Plus player, although I'm planning on rating and progressing next season. Now, anything can change from now to the official start of season 2, but as it stands, I do not see Totemic being our hero talent selection for next season's Mythic Plus. My personal favorite build I have been testing though is this Fire Nova Searing Totem build, where you use Fire Nova anytime a Searing Totem is active, which does a nice little burst of damage, and I don't know, for me, just kind of smoothed out the rotation a bit, especially with the Maelstrom spending we have to do, and it's just fun. This was just the one I had fun with, and for some reason was performing the best with it, and that could very well because I was just enjoying myself, where every other time I was not playing Totemic. Before we head out though, Shaman Shaman did receive some nice visual updates. Lightning Bolt has a new animation that makes it look much more zappy in a modern zap kind of way. I love it. I think it looks great. I hope Chain Lightning actually gets a visual update like this because I love the way this one looks. Crash Lightning has also received a visual update and now clearly shows the distance it travels when hitting targets. It looks amazing and more visual clarity. If you haven't seen a lot about Season 2, that seems the direction Blizzard's going, and I'm here for it. I'm gonna stand on business. I like this. You guys let me know if you do too. And if you haven't noticed yet, Primordial Wave has also received a visual update, but this happened a long time ago. But since it was a major beat in the video, I figured I'd show you in case you literally just, for some reason, are blind or never seen it. I'm just kidding. You know, sometimes things get updated and you've never seen it. It's fine if you haven't. No, it is. I'm pissed, but it's fine. All in all, though, Enhancement is looking to continue its trend as a strong and popular spec heading into Season 2. We literally have one of the best tier set bonuses, which is crazy. They gave us back-to-back bangers. Blizzard, keep doing it. We freaking love it. And my favorite thing is this tier set does actually positively change the rotation up a bit, and all their spec and class talent changes have smoothed out the rotation, so I'm here for a little shift up. I think if, you know, Primordial Wave was still acting the way it was, I think it would still be kind of weird, but with all that stuff solved, this tier set's awesome, and I love the impacts it has on a rotation because it makes hitting Crash Lightning feel so freaking good. So, if you're currently playing Enhancement, great. And if you're thinking of picking up and learning the spec, you can check out my Season 1 guide here to get caught up, get going, and get ahead of the curve before we head into Season 2. And also, don't forget to punch that like button, kiss that subscribe button, and tickle my bell to stay up to date and see some of the best WoW content news on YouTube, according to my dog. And while you're down there, let me know what you think of the changes coming to Enhancement in Season 2. And of course, I'll see you all next time.